Amanda, or Dr. Gamma, should I say? I mean, if I'd worked that hard to get a title of a doctor, I would be trotting it out willy-nilly, quite frankly.
Amanda's fine. It's yeah, I don't do the formal stuff too well. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. You are a woman after my own heart, really, truly. It's so nice to chat to you. It's so nice to reconnect, because we've met a few times over the years, because I'm very much involved in Toy Fair, which for those that don't know is sort of the industry's biggest toy convention every year. That happens in January, which sadly we can't do this year because of coronavirus, which is really sad. But I think we're all gearing up for an even bigger, better one in 2022. So yeah, so we've met before, which is lovely, and I'm so pleased to be supporting you and joining forces in, quite frankly, something that I have as a parent been waiting for. You know what you say when they say you didn't know you needed something until suddenly it was invented, or but it wasn't there. And you have recently launched the Good Toy Guide. So firstly, tell us about yourself, how you've become a doctor, and then tell us about the Good Toy Guide and what it's all about.
Yeah, it's lovely to see you again, and thank you for your support on this. It's been a journey, actually. Everything that's on the site has been tested by children and parents and professionals. So the reviews are really robust, stuff you can trust, which I think in the world of fake news is so important. I've been working with children and families for, well, a couple of decades now, which is scary, because obviously I'm only 28, right? So
sure, we all are, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, and I've been every year I do something, and I'm still doing more on different things in this field, but I see the value of play, and it makes my soul soar. It's just so lovely to see what kids get from play, and being able to help parents find the right toys for their kids is just, yeah, it's lovely.
Well, I think that's, I'm a mum myself now, as you know, and I've spent years working in the children's industry as a children's presenter. But then when you become a parent yourself, there's just so much going on with life that it does become an absolute minefield of what to get, because I have a 4-year-old who every single advert he sees on the TV, or he sees a child with a toy, he wants it. So it is really difficult, actually, and I think quite overwhelming as a parent to know what to get. Should I get it? Is it worth the money? Will it break after 3 seconds? What will my child get out of it? Is it a trusted toy? As a parent, you want something that they're going to get a lot out of, hopefully. So I think this Good Toy Guide has been an absolute savior, especially as we're gearing up for Christmas and we can't access toy stores perhaps like we used to. So we are now relying on reviews more than ever. And if you can perhaps tell us a little bit more about how you go through the testing process of each toy.
Sure. So each toy gets tested by at least on 4 different occasions with different children. So, and sometimes more than that. So we send the toys off to our play club partners. We've trained the professionals in the play clubs to observe children's natural behaviour. So it's not like sitting in a focus group in a sort of strange room or anything. We're watching children play naturally with the toys, which I think is really important. And then they feed back to us, and we compile the reviews, and we rate the toys on fun, ease of use, and skills developed, so that there is a sort of it's not just a 5 stars out, 4 out of 5 or something. There's a bit more context in there. We give quotes from the kids. We have developmental benefits of the toys. We sort of bullet point those so that parents can find those. We have the experts comment for the parents to sort of really see what the experts say in terms of what the real benefits are. And we're very candid about anything that might be a bit tricky to use, something that might be a bit hard to set up, or might be great if the adult's playing with it with the child, rather than being something that you give to the kids to play on their own. So all of that context, it makes the reviews really rich. And we get that from our play club partners, who are our sort of army of testers.
I think that's what's really key and what's really unique about the Good Toy Guide, because we're all used to using review sites in all areas of life, aren't we? On holiday, hotels, restaurants, we're all using advice sites. But we're never really sure how genuine some of those reviews can be. And sometimes you get some amazing reviews, and you just get one bad review, and then it throws you off kilter a little bit. And I think what's really special about the Good Toy Guide is that it does have this quite rigorous and robust judging and vetting process that goes into it. And let's be honest, children are the harshest critics, are they not?
Well, they are, and that's why we do the testing in the way we do, because actually you give any kid a new toy and they go way for 5 minutes. It's what happens after that first 5 minutes that's what tells you whether it's a good toy or not.
So what happens if you test drive a toy that's perhaps not stacking up to what
we do that, and we do fail them, and we are here to help raise the standards within the toy industry. So we feed that back to our clients. We don't name and shame, but anybody who's submitted a toy, we send them back a report, explain to them why it's maybe not made the grade this time, and we give them an opportunity to resubmit it if they make some changes. So we're about trying to make toys better for children, because we're not there with a clipboard going, oh no, you failed, you're a terrible toy. We're about helping toys.
Yeah, so it feeds into that constructive criticism, and as you say, it's all a positive, because we all want the industry to come out with banging toys that everyone's going to love.
Yeah,
and I think that's a really key part about the Good Toy Guide, is that you don't just kind of give everyone a big shiny tick and go there you go. It is really rigorously looked into, and that's why I find this is such a comprehensive guide. And for me as a parent, it's something that I really trust. And when you go into that minefield of, as we all are now, oh, it's Christmas coming up, I better start the Christmas shopping. Well, we're all doing it online because that's all we really have open to us at the moment. It is, where do I start? We've all got the big websites that we all know about. We have the toy stores as well, but it is a bit of it's potluck, really, isn't it, about what you're picking. And I know as a parent myself, having those real-time reviews from actual children and from someone like yourself who is trained and has such respect for this industry, how I think as a parent, it's almost a question of why wouldn't you access the Good Toy Guide? And Amanda, actually, we've had a lot of questions come in for you. If you're happy for me to fire away from some of my followers. So I'll just grab them up now. So someone says, I'd like to teach my little boy who is 3.5 about the world and countries, etc. Any ideas?
So I think make-believe play at 3.5, sort of getting dressed up and pretending to be on a desert island or pretending to be in Australia. And there's loads of stuff that you can, loads of ways you can do it. A 3.5-year-old's world is still quite small. And I think you don't want to confuse them too much about trying to kind of widen their horizons too quickly. But absolutely, just bringing in different foods, cooking with them, talking about when you're making a pasta dish, talking about Italy and where that comes from, and those kind of natural activities can be really powerful in helping kids understand that there is a wider world out there, because kids at that age are incredibly egocentric, and that's there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of their development. But yeah, getting them gradually, helping them see things outside of their immediate environment. Really, really nice thing to be doing.
Another question: advice for introducing we've had to do this recently ourselves. So, advice for introducing a new sibling to an almost 4-year-old. This was exactly me this time last year.
Well, tell me how you did it then. What did you do at work?
Oh, good. Oh, a nice throwback. So Eleonora, she's coming up 1. She's 1 at Christmas, and my son was 3.5 at the time. He's now just over 4. So we very much made him a part of the pregnancy. But I do know a lot of my friends have had an issue with siblings and a new baby joining the family. And actually what I would say is that his sleep pattern was interrupted. He did become a bit more of an anxious sleeper once the baby had arrived. And that's something we had to work very hard at.
Yeah, like the only thing I would add to that is getting them a doll can really help, so that they, whilst you're you can talk about how when the baby arrives, how you hold them and all of that kind of stuff, and but then when the baby does arrive, they can maybe be changing the doll's nappy whilst you're changing the baby's nappy, and they can feel like they're being, they're taking care, and that role play can really help them empathize and understand what's going on a bit more. But sounds like you did a great job.
Well, you're very sweet. I don't know how much of it was just winging it. I've got some more questions come in. What's your view on? Oh, this is a great question. What's your view on kids with tech now, as they always seem to be on a device?
Yeah, and lockdown's really exacerbated that, hasn't it? So
Mm.
I've always stayed away from saying children should have 30 minutes on tech a day, or children should have X amount, the kind of time limits. And for me, it's all about the balance. So we have this model of a balanced play diet. And in the same way that you balance kids' nutritional diet, you should balance their play. So you have the superfoods of the play diet. So active, social, creative, imaginative, free, child-led play. They're doing that. So that's, creating stuff, maybe stuff for the Junko or the Geomag or something, where they're just doing it themselves, ideally with somebody else. So there's communication and sort of social skills being developed, but they're doing it in their own way. There's not any rules to follow particularly. They're just using their imagination. And if they're doing it and being active and running around, and even better. In the same way that if you're sitting at dinner and a kid says, can I have some more broccoli, if you've got more to spare, then you would absolutely fill your boots. Go ahead. It's the same with that kind of play. The tech play is often the sweets and the treats of the play diet. So it's absolutely fine if they've had plenty of their superfoods and if their balance is fine. And rather than looking at how many hours or how many minutes children should play with tech toys or not, it's about looking at the kind of play that is happening. If you're sitting there playing one of those mindless, repetitive screen games, that's very much your sweets and your treats, and limit that in the same way that you would sugar intake and all the rest of it. Yeah. If they're learning on screen because they're doing a maths app, or they're playing with a connected toy that's allowing them to engage with their friends, or even games that you can play over the internet with your grandparents, that's something that we've seen in lockdown. All of that stuff, there's a lot of good learning and development there. So the fact that it's a tech toy in itself isn't the issue. It's what they're doing on the tech. So things like Pokemon Go, outside, active, fun to do with friends, all of that kind of stuff. Brilliant. That's nowhere near the same as one of those games where you're just sitting and playing repetitive, mindless, zone out stuff. But we all need a bit of zone out time at times as well. So I don't want to demonize any of those games. It's just about managing them in the same way that you would manage your kid's nutrition.
Absolutely love that analogy, and that is one of my favorite things I've heard on. Yeah, superfoods, as you say, that's in the text, the sweet treats. Love that, and about quality of it as well. Brilliant, thank you, Amanda. A bit of a curveball question from me, actually, and thanks to everyone that did send in the questions. So when it comes to, just because we're coming up to Christmas, and the Good Toy Guide is going to be absolutely essential, I think, for every parent to cut through the plethora that's on the market. In your experience as a child developmental expert, is there kind of an optimum amount of toys that you should get or you shouldn't get? Because it's a very divided landscape at the moment. With undoubtedly people have been having a lot more financial issues this year, and some people. So I think what I'm trying to say is, I know there's a lot of pressure that parents put on themselves to be able to afford everything and anything, and that just isn't practical for everybody. And then and on the other flip side, there are some children, and I know I can sometimes feel that with my own children, with family members, they're too indulged. Is there a sweet spot of what you should get your children at Christmas?
Yeah, there's a yes, in short. There's a lovely quote, and I think it's from The Secret Garden, and it's the housekeeper, and they're talking about the spoiled rich kid, and it said the worst things that kids can get is getting everything they want or getting nothing that they want. And actually that sort of in between, so yeah, not giving them everything that they ask for on their Christmas list actually teaches them the value of things and that kind of to appreciate them. So I think that's an important lesson. In terms of how many or what, I think it does depend on your family circumstances, but I absolutely agree that you shouldn't break the bank and cause yourself financial stress through January, February and March just to give the kids an extra couple of toys under the Christmas tree. So I think kids, we again, part of the kind of background of what we do is this parent-centered parent model of parenting or a family life, and children benefit most if their parents are the role models for them and they are happy, healthy, relaxed, comfortable, emotionally stable, all of that gives children that blueprint to copy from. So if you're stressed and frazzled and worried about money for a third of the year because you've overspent at Christmas, that's not a good role model. So, you know, it's about helping them understand that you can't have everything and there are priorities, but also helping parents feel confident to be able to manage within their means to give kids Christmas memories. And, you know, what kids want most is time and fun and memory making. You can do that without having.
And they really do, don't they, Amanda?
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah, and I know that myself from dealing with children, you know, time and as a parent. And I think there is a really nice combination here when it comes to what you're offering with the Good Toy Guide, is perhaps invest in and I think invest is the key word, really. You know, invest in a toy that has got a really good amount of longevity in it. Maybe something that you can pass down to a sibling. Maybe it's a toy that you can enjoy playing with them as a parent as well.
Yeah.
All of the toys that you've already mentioned and all of the ones that I've seen on your website absolutely offer that. And I think that's also really key. And it's enjoying that play with your child and investing. For me and for my husband and I, you know, I wouldn't say we're rolling in it. I think we're okay financially, but we certainly don't have many pennies to spare. But I also am trying to teach my children as well that they don't just have everything that they want. I don't think that's a very good lesson, as you say. So for us, it's about thinking of that one main toy that's within a reasonable budget, and managing that expectation as well. You know, if Enzo's asking for a toy that's 150 quid and that's just not going to cut it, quite frankly, we think that's far too expensive. We'll then manage those expectations with, oh, that's very expensive. Let's have a little look down the list at something else that you'd really quite like. And I think that's the thing, isn't it, for parents, is work out what your budget is yourself as your parent. You know, what is the most you can afford on a big toy? Is it £20? Is it £30? And then manage their expectations within that budget of what that toy might be. And that way, and also something that you can enjoy together. So I think parents just need to give themselves a bit of a break, don't they?
Yeah, and I think, you know, young children don't understand value of money. They just don't.
No idea.
They like the excitement of unwrapping things. So you can wrap up the most crazy things, you know, whether it's a little bar of chocolate or a bigger toy, you can almost unbox it and wrap up the bits individually, because then the kids get to unwrap that bit.
And I think perhaps this Christmas is a way of rethinking things, of thinking what's important and making those more considered purchases. I think I can be guilty, as a lot of parents are, of going into your local toy store or online and just going, just stick in the PayPal, stick in the credit card number. Let's just go volume. And this is where I'm so delighted that we've teamed up for the Good Toy Guide, because not only has it been exactly what I'd needed, I think for every parent out there, it's just that really needed and trusted resource in order to make sure we're buying wisely this year, where there isn't surplus amounts of money. So forecasting ahead, what trends are we looking out for when it comes to children and play?
So I think with the current coronavirus situation being so uncertain, I think home learning is absolutely on the increase. And I think parents have through lockdown got more involved and invested in their children's education. It's obviously become more disjointed, so they're taking more of an interest in learning from home. So anything that helps with a sort of a school-based educational angle. I think mental health is absolutely critical. So things that help children explore their emotions, help them understand a bit more about just that kind of emotional literacy. Tech toys, absolutely. And I think it's lovely to see connected toys helping kids stay in touch with their friends, but also their wider family. So games and things that can be played virtually, absolutely on the up. And then I think things like the good old fashioned board games, where families just, family playtime, you haven't had the option or the luxury of having lots of friends to go and play with, and parents are at home more. So that parents and older siblings have become more of the playmates for the younger children, and games that can span the whole family. And everybody can enjoy playing together are really good. So I think they will continue they've had a boom year. And, jigsaw puzzles, I think they're sort of that, they're just that calming, just, being able to take a bit of time out. It's essentially mindfulness, but a lot of play is actually mindfulness. Because when you're absorbed in something, whether it's a model making or a jigsaw puzzle or a, you know, construction toy or whatever it is, you're absorbed in the moment. That's, you know, that's so good for kids in this crazy world at the moment. So yeah, I think they're some of the key things I think will continue to be themes through next year.
Love it. And as you say, that's important, I think, things that will take their attention for longer, as opposed to that 5 minutes I'm bored. The toys that will really last. In the sense, construction toys are a great one for that as well, and jigsaws, as you say.
Yeah.
Amanda, thank you. The Good Toy Guide is incredible. So just perhaps you could just outline the key features of the Good Toy Guide.
Yeah, so it's goodtoyguide.com, and it is an independent review site for toys and games and general kids products, and all the toys on there, you can see the reviews, you can see the what the experts say, you can see the developmental benefits of the toys, and you get the ratings, and then you can buy the toys from us if you so wish.
It's a one-stop shop.
It is a one-stop shop.
It is. So it's thegoodtoyguide.com, and I'm so pleased to be working alongside you, and thank you for inventing it, quite frankly, because it's made my life a hell of a lot easier.
Well, thank you for all your support. I think yeah, really appreciate it, and I'm glad you're finding it useful.
It's fantastic. Every parent should log on right now.
Thanks.